Well, we are live. Tony, it's been about 18 months. We've been talking about doing this. How are you tonight?
I'm good, man. Excited to get rolling.
Exciting. First things first, I know I talked to you and we were going to talk about the World Juniors, but might as well start right off the bat and really piss you off. What happens with your Detroit Lions, man?
Hey, I don't even know what to say. 40 years of horribleness. It's funny. One of my good buddies today, because today's the date. 3 years ago, I believe Matt Patricia was hired, and one of my buddies posted a thing where I said, listen, I was no big Jim Caldwell fan by any means, but I would have rather kept Jim Caldwell over Matt Patricia, and it was the most inept thing I've ever seen in my life. Was watching him coach.
So it's all blamed on the coach then.
Yeah, we'll go with the coach for now. But just unbelievable. And what makes it 10 times worse is watching my bitter rival, the Green Bay Packers, who I just despise more than anything in life, playing lights out this year and probably going to the Super Bowl, which is a sickening thought to me.
So, and that probably leads us into what our first topic. What we were going to talk about tonight is when it comes to, for some reason, I don't know, the power of social media. You were cheering Team USA last night in the World Juniors, with you sitting on Sioux Canada side and being the Canadian. Let's talk a little bit about the World Juniors, and then we'll lead into something about that trash can barrel also.
Yeah, so funny story about the World Juniors. I mean, I get grilled about this every year. Why does Bono hate Team Canada so much in the World Juniors? For those that don't know, for years I worked the penalty box for the Greyhounds, and I used to work in the visiting team's penalty box. And doing that, you get to meet a lot of the guys, you get to meet a lot of the players, you get to, you kind of get to see who the good guys are of the game, right? There was a few years back, there were two specific teams who came here, and they had 5 players on those two OHL teams. 5 players played at the World Juniors. They were the biggest jerks I've ever encountered in a penalty box before. They were rude. They were, chirping fans. They were derogatory. They were, just not good people. Seemed like not good people. I knew they were going to the World Juniors, and I knew I would have to cheer for these guys, and I just couldn't do it. I could not cheer for these spoiled, rich brats who drove me nuts. And again, I'm not saying all of them. It was just a group of 5 kids that year. And I couldn't do it, so I couldn't cheer for them. So I ended up cheering for Russia, I think, as a joke. And this team didn't even make the playoffs. Didn't even make the medal round. And as a result, it's just become a running joke now with me and my buddies, and a social media thing where I just have to chirp. And it seems like every time I go against Canada, that's what happens. So there's, like I said, there's a little bit of a story behind it. It's not that I hate Canada. I do have dual citizenship, so I am an American. So it was nice to see. That happen. But obviously, deep down, I'm always rooting for Canada. But you got to be that little bit of a troublemaker every so often, right?
And being a hockey city, we're based in Sault Ste. Marie. Being a hockey city, it just pisses people off even more, right?
Oh, it's hilarious. I love it. So now it's just become a joke, right? Where you can just upset people, and people get so riled up about it, and I think it's funny, right? And most people know, I think, that I'm not being too serious about it, but that's what it was. It all had to do with that one year, and I just couldn't bring myself to cheer for these kids. And again, I know that other people have echoed that sentiment from that season as well.
And it's something about, like I say, with the show we've talked about. It's something that we're going to talk about sports in the 705 area code, but at the same time, might touch in a little bit of the politics of sports or everything like that way. And mostly I'll go with sports, but again, we could talk totally on 705 sports, just so that people know out there who are listening. But the thing is, going back to the World Juniors last night, 2-0 loss. Do you think it had to do with just not the preparation, going in there too confident, or?
Yeah, great question. I mean, I thought a lot about this over the last few days, and I think what's really important is you got to think, right? There was no OHL season. There hasn't been an OHL season yet, and we're going to get into that a little bit later on. But these kids, from the States and everywhere else, they've been playing hockey all year, right? These Canadian boys, they were out there, busting their butts, playing unbelievable hockey. They didn't trail for once that entire tournament, right? So those kids deserve a heck of a lot of credit for what they did. The only thing was they didn't really, one could argue they didn't face a lot of adversity. So as soon as they were facing some adversity with the U.S., they didn't learn how to react to that as a team. So I felt like that was a big deal. But I also felt like, the fact that these kids haven't played competitive hockey all year, but they absolutely dominated a tournament, just goes to show how strong that team actually is.
And it's something that would, again, touching base, being from Sault Ste. Marie, we still did see two players wear their national flag when it comes to the Sioux Greyhounds with the Czech Republic. So there was a little bit of Sioux Greyhound connection this year, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And it was fun. I did think that I was really disappointed to see O'Rourke not make it for Team Canada. I thought he I love his game. I love his grit. He's one of my favorite players to watch. A skilled guy who's not afraid to mix it up. I remember watching him as a rookie, and he was 16 years old, and he was dropping the gloves with 19-year-olds. Like he wasn't even thinking twice about it, right? And I do think that grit and determination, maybe might have helped Canada in the back end. But again, for the most part, you can't really complain with how they played and how they did, really.
And it's something to touch base a little bit on the World Juniors. We did touch base off camera. One thing is your opinion on the championship photo and that barrel coming out.
Oh, I don't know if people have seen that yet, but I'm going to share my screen here, and I'm going to show our audience what we're referring to, because it was probably one of the most, I don't know, I don't have words for it, but here, for those of you that don't know what we're talking about, last night before Team USA got their picture taken as a group, they paused the picture and went and got a garbage can with the Team Canada logo on it. So I'll show it to you right here in case you missed it.
And it's something, while it's playing, yeah. It's something about, I'm not saying some of the people in the media say classless, but when it comes, should the coaching staff have stopped that?
Yeah, do I think the coaching staff should have stopped it? Absolutely, I do. I don't see any reason for that at all. But you know what? We've seen this from the U.S. women's soccer team. We've seen this from the U.S. women's hockey team when they stomped on a Canadian flag after winning the gold medal. We've seen this happen a lot with the States, and I do think that the rivalry plays a huge factor into it. Obviously, U.S. Canadian hockey is just unbelievable, right? And it's arguably one of the best rivalries in sports, whether it's women or men. So, that's a big deal for those guys, for those kids. And, we don't know about all the backstories and things like that. But, I did think it was a little bit classless. But, again, the U.S. has a history of doing things like this.
And I'm not defending Canada or anything else. There has been stuff in the past that's happened. But I guess when it comes to stuff that does happen in the dressing room, Canadians, we don't open the door to it. So if we're doing it, we do it with it behind closed doors, and we leave behind closed doors. Where the U.S. likes to put, and I understand that red, white, and blue right up in front and say, hey, we were the best. They were the best last night, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's just in sports. Anyone who's ever coached, who I've had the pleasure of coaching or coach against, I hate that shit. I don't like that stuff. I don't like the rubbing it in. I don't like the running up of scores. I don't like the running or the overall bragging of winning, right? You win with class, you lose with class, and that's how you should play, right? So I didn't enjoy that by any means. And to be honest with you, I didn't even see the garbage thing until this afternoon. I honestly saw it then. And I couldn't believe it. I honestly couldn't believe it. But you're right. As a coaching staff, that just reflects poorly on everybody, right? So I don't know. What do you think?
I feel the same. And like I say, when I've coached in the past, more along the hockey lines and stuff like that. Again, there's always little shots you take to the players behind closed doors as a coach, with the older players and stuff like that. But I feel the same. It's something, again, if they had in the dressing room, that's motivation, that's fine. But to bring it out into public, It's just not right. And the other thing I want to ask is when you say you don't like running up scores, what about Canada in the first couple games? Is that because their opponents were just that bad, or what do you do?
Yeah, see, it's funny. I had a big talk about this with a few people, and I hate that argument of, well, you have to score, you have to run up the score in this because you need position. It's the tiebreakers, goals for and against, those types of things. If you're Team Canada, it doesn't matter if you finish first or second. I know people will disagree with that, and people won't agree, and all this. If you finish first or second, you're playing a weaker team. You're going to advance. You're going to go. I did not like the fact that Canada scored. I mean, I don't remember what the score was, but I know they scored at least 10. Was it 11? Like, anyway, they just blew them out of the water, right? And I don't like that. I've just never liked that.
And it's something there. Like I use Jamie Lambert said, garbage can thing blows my mind, and that's just again what the public is seeing too, right?
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, I don't want to beat a dead horse with this, but it's just I can't comprehend it. I can't comprehend why the coaching staff would think, hey, this is okay.
And then that's exactly it. And